On December 22, 2025, the Navy unveiled something not seen since World War II, a proposal for a guided missile battleship priced at $19 billion, bigger, riskier, and more controversial than any destroyer or cruiser afloat. No ship exists yet, just an audacious plan, vast numbers, and a fierce debate over what battleship means in the missile age. What is driving the Navy to revive this legendary label now? And what is truly at stake if the future of United States sea power is shaped by a concept scarcely past the PowerPoint stage? December 22, 2025 became a milestone in modern naval history when the White House issued a press release introducing the BBGX program. That morning, the Navy joined the announcement and described a notional guided missile battleship as the centerpiece of a new Golden Fleet. The Congressional Research Service followed with a briefing, IF 133142, making the program's existence a matter of public record. For the first time since World War II, the word battleship appeared in a United States Navy procurement plan, but this time it was attached to a ship defined by missile volume and advanced electronics, not heavy armor or giant guns. No steel has been cut. There is no hull, no crew, no contract for construction. There is only a proposal and a set of slides. The official documents lay out a vision of a surface combatant over 35,000 tons, larger than any modern destroyer or cruiser, with a crew of 650 to 850. The Navy's press release describes the BBGX as a collaborative design effort with industry partners, aiming for a missile magazine far beyond the capacity of any ship currently afloat. The plan calls for procurement to start in the early 2030s, but every detail remains provisional. The simultaneous release of the Congressional Research Service summary and the Navy statement ensured that the BBGX could no longer be dismissed as rumor or internal study. It became a subject for open analysis and debate, with its scale, cost, and purpose now part of congressional and public conversation. The only certainty is that for now, the BBGX exists as an idea, one that raises as many questions as it answers about the future of United States sea power. The meaning of battleship in the 2020s has shifted far from the image of steel giants firing 16-inch shells. Today, the Navy uses the term to describe a vessel defined by missile dominance, digital battle management, and command infrastructure, rather than by armor or gun turrets. In official doctrine, the BBGX is envisioned as a missile fortress, its value measured by how many interceptors and strike weapons it can carry and coordinate, not by the thickness of its hull. This conceptual pivot comes from the logic of distributed maritime operations, a strategy built on networked sensors and rapid, coordinated missile salvos. Instead of leading with gunfire, the modern battleship acts as a central node, directing and sustaining high-tempo strikes across the fleet. Its real firepower lies in magazine depth, the raw number of missiles ready to launch, and in the ability to manage the chaos of missile warfare using advanced sensors and communication links. The Navy's use of the historic label is deliberate. By calling BBGX a battleship, planners signal a return to capital ship thinking, but on new terms. The focus is now on survivability through redundancy, magazine depth, and the ability to command a strike group under fire. In this framework, the ship's size and crew are not throwbacks. They are functional responses to the demands of missile-era combat and the need for resilient command and control at sea. The projected $19 billion price tag for the BBGX is not a typo or a rounding error. It is the result of a long pattern in American shipbuilding where the first ship of a new class absorbs enormous costs before a single plate of steel is cut. The Congressional Research Service places the lead ship estimate between $17.6 billion and $18.9 billion with a ceiling of $22 billion if technical hurdles force redesigns. That number reflects more than just materials or labor. It includes years of non-recurring engineering, specialized tooling, and the integration of new weapons and power systems that have never been combined on a single hull before. Past programs offer cautionary lessons. The Zumwalt-class destroyer saw costs rise by over 25% as the Navy grappled with new propulsion and radar systems, while the Ford-class carrier exceeded $15 billion after electromagnetic launch and radar integration setbacks. Each of these ships started with ambitious promises and ended up costing far more than their initial projections. For BBGX, the risks are even greater. The design calls for advanced missile launchers, high-energy lasers, and a railgun, all technologies that remain in flux. Every delay or redesign ripples through the budget, and with a ship this large, the stakes multiply. Before the Navy even settles on a final blueprint, the spreadsheets are already signaling just how expensive it is to be first. A full load displacement of 35,000 tons puts BBGX in a category all its own, far beyond the largest surface combatants in today's fleet, yet still well short of the behemoth Iowa-class battleships of the past. The planned hull stretches between 840 and 880 feet long, with a beam close to 110 feet. For context, that is nearly triple the size of an Arleigh Burke-class destroyer, and more than twice the mass of a Zumwalt. Even compared to the Ticonderoga-class cruiser, BBGX is a giant, and it approaches the scale of modern amphibious assault ships like the America-class LHA. This much steel is not about chasing speed records. The real purpose of such a footprint is internal volume. Every foot of hull space translates into room for missile launchers, power generation, command centers, and the layers of redundancy needed to survive missile-age warfare. The magazine depth possible on a 35,000-ton hull can support a missile loadout that dwarfs anything afloat today. Crew accommodations, too, signal a different philosophy. With 650 to 850 personnel, BBGX is designed for sustained operations and robust damage control, not automation at any cost. The hull becomes more than a platform. It is the silent backbone that makes new levels of firepower and resilience possible. A projected crew of 650 to 850 sailors sets the BBGX apart from every modern surface combatant. The Navy's own post-incident analyses, especially after the 2022 fire aboard USS John Paul Jones, found that smaller, automation-heavy crews like the Zumwalt's 150 could not sustain simultaneous firefighting, engineering recovery, and combat system repairs during a crisis. On a ship this size, redundancy is not just a luxury, it is the backbone of survival. Multiple firefighting teams, engineering watchstanders, and combat information center crews must operate at full tempo, even if parts of the ship are damaged or isolated. This manpower also supports flagship duties, from command and control to running complex battle management systems. The BBGX design calls for compartmentalized zones and distributed weapon bays, but it is the human element that ties it all together. While automation handles routine operations, only a large, well-trained crew can deliver the kind of resilience needed for sustained combat and recovery at sea. The Navy is betting that in the missile age, people remain the most flexible and decisive layer of defense. The weapons suite for BBGX is both the heart of its promise and the source of its greatest uncertainty. Navy press releases and congressional briefings consistently mention 128 Mark 41 vertical launch cells, more than any current U.S. warship, spread across 3 armored blocks for survivability. Alongside these, 12 launchers for conventional prompt strike missiles are planned, intended to give the ship an intercontinental reach at hypersonic speed. These are the only elements described with any operational confidence. Beyond that, the vision expands into aspirational territory. The Navy's public statements reference 2 high-energy lasers, possibly scaling from 300 to 600 kilowatts, and a 32 megajoule railgun, both still in prototype stages as of early 2026. The integration of these systems, along with the SPY-6 radar, would push the boundaries of current shipboard power and cooling. Each new technology brings its own set of risks. None are fully mature, and no ship afloat combines them at this scale. The difference between what is confirmed and what is pitched is more than a detail. It is the gap that will define the schedule and the budget for years to come. The official schedule for BBGX sets an aggressive pace, compressing years of design, review, and construction into a narrow window. The Navy's own fiscal year, 2026 shipbuilding plan, calls for a concept study in 2026, followed by a preliminary design review in 2027. Just 12 months later, the critical design review is slated for 2028. That is the point when the blueprint is supposed to be frozen and detailed engineering begins. By 2030, the plan demands a contract award and the laying of the first keel, with initial operational capability targeted for 2034. That is a 6-year sprint from first drawings to a combat-ready ship, a timeline shorter than the 9 years it took to bring the Zumwalt class from design to delivery. Program managers face a daunting task, maturing unproven technologies, finalizing systems, and clearing industrial bottlenecks, all while the clock runs. Every month, shaved from the schedule raises the risk that design and construction will overlap, forcing changes on the fly and multiplying the chance of costly rework. The calendar itself becomes a source of pressure, as each milestone locks in commitments before the underlying technologies are fully proven. The debate now lands squarely on the shoulders of Congress and the industrial base. The Navy's own budget documents reveal a hard truth. Every dollar committed to BBGX design is a dollar not spent on the next generation of destroyers. In the fiscal year 2027 proposal, $9 billion is earmarked for BBGX design studies, while DDGX funding faces a 15% reduction. Shipyard capacity reports warn that adding a 35,000-ton hull to the build queue could delay or even displace planned destroyer slots at Bath Iron Works and Ingalls. Congressional staff have filed written objections, arguing that the battleship's budget and berth requirements may crowd out the very distributed fleet the Navy says it needs. The dilemma is stark. Concentrate firepower and command in a single massive platform, or spread capability across more, smaller ships. As the plans move from paper toward potential construction, the unresolved question remains: will BBGX stand as the ultimate symbol of deterrence, or will it become the most tempting target afloat? Right now, BBGX is still just $1 billion question mark. There is no ship, only intent and uncertainty. As weapons and threats evolve, the stakes aren't just technical or fiscal. In the missile age, does size promise security? Or does it simply make the target impossible to ignore? Share your thoughts below.